My girlfriend's college friend was cornered by loan sharks. Before she could even say a word, I spoke up. He's your friend after all. Help him if you can. I won't stand in your way. In my last life, I was terrified she'd get tangled up with violent criminals, so I begged her not to get involved. I never imagined her friend would be driven to suicide by his creditors, overdosing on sleeping pills. Afterward, Victoria acted as if nothing had happened, and we continued planning our wedding. Until one night drunk, she lovingly stroked a photo of her friend. Then as I slept, she plunged a knife into my heart. She said if it weren't for my cold, selfish indifference, he would never have killed himself. Now, reborn, I'll grant her wish. She can go help him pay off his debt. Chapter 1. Babe, how much money do you have on you? Leo's creditors are back at his house. You know how close we are. They said if he doesn't pay up today, they're going to sell him off. A wave of dizziness washed over me, the phantom feeling of suffocation still lodged in my throat. A pair of hands gripped my sleeve tightly. I was reborn. Back to the day Victoria Sterling was running around trying to borrow money for Leo Miller. Leo was an underclassman she'd known in college, a clean-cut, decent-looking kid, but he had a father who was a gambling addict. I'd heard the man racked up massive debts with loan sharks and then killed himself, leaving his son to face the daily harassment of his creditors. To be fair, Victoria had always been good to me. Everyone knew she loved me to death. So, in my past life, when she started borrowing money for Leo, saying he was like a little brother to her, and she couldn't bear to see his future ruined by debt collectors, I just thought she was being kind. I didn't think anything more of it, but Leo's father owed over $10 million. Coming up with that kind of money was no small feat, especially since the creditors were dangerous underworld figures. Getting involved was a good way to get yourself killed. Naturally, I didn't want my fiancée mixed up in that mess. So, in my previous life, I gave Victoria all my savings on one condition. She would stay out of Leo's affairs and focus on our wedding. I never expected Leo to take his own life. When I heard the news, I felt a pang of regret. A good kid ruined by a terrible father. Victoria showed only a flicker of sadness and never brought it up with me again. But I could have never, ever imagined she would kill me for him. Now, looking at the frantic Victoria before me, my mind replayed her last words as I lay dying. I told you it wasn't what you thought between me and Leo. Why? Why wouldn't you help him? Isn't your family rich? You wealthy people could never understand this kind of desperation. Sincere. Vance, how can you be so selfish? So cold-hearted you could. Watch him die and still expect me to marry a heartless man like you. You rich people are all scum. A bitter laugh escaped my lips. My family's business pulled in a few million a year, and I was their only son. It's why my parents had never approved of Victoria, who came from a small town with no connections. They wanted me to marry someone from our world, but I was so infatuated with Victoria that they eventually gave in. Their only move was to cut me off financially, hoping to force my hand, and now Victoria was seething with resentment because I hadn't gone. Crawling back to my family for money to save her dear friend. $10 million. Was I supposed to sell everything I owned to pave the way for her and her true love? Seeing my silence, Victoria cupped my face in her hands, her expression full of devotion. The look I once adored now made my stomach turn. Babe, trust me. I just feel sorry for him and want to help. You know we've known each other for a long time. Leo's a good guy. He even said he's always looked up to you as a role model. I pushed her hands away. To be with you, I let my parents cut me off, I said, my voice cold. Where would I get that kind of money for you? Victoria seemed to miss the sarcasm in my tone. Babe, you're their only child. If you just explain the situation to your parents, I'm sure they'll help you, right? I shot back. Are you in love with Leo Miller? Chapter 2. A flicker of guilt crossed Victoria's eyes, but she quickly masked it. Of course not, babe. The whole world knows you're the only one I love. He's just a friend from college I'm close to. I just feel sorry for him and want to help, that's all. Don't overthink it." I stood up, not even glancing at her. "He's your friend, not mine. I have no obligation to solve his family's problems." Victoria frowned. "Sincere, you're usually the kindest, most understanding person I know. Why are you suddenly so devoid of empathy? You have money, your parents are alive and well, you have a safety net. And Leo? He lost his mom when he was young and got stuck with a father like that. You're really telling him to let them eat cake with that?" She stormed into the bedroom, grabbed her purse and bank cards, and, without another word to me, slammed the door shut on her way to Leo's house. I couldn't fathom how she could spew such shameless, guilt-tripping nonsense, acting as if I were the one responsible for all of Leo's suffering. I quickly packed a suitcase and sent Victoria a single text message. "We're over." Then, I blocked her number, deleted her contact, and wiped her from my digital life. This time, I wanted to see just how long she could last without my unwavering support. Victoria's startup was at a critical stage. In my last life, I had knelt before my parents, begging them for seed money for her. I'd schmoozed investors and worked myself into the hospital with a bleeding ulcer to land her contracts. I gave her everything. And her? Did she ever really love me? In all those nights we spent wrapped in each other's arms, who was she really thinking of? Me or her dead friend? I dragged my suitcase home. My parents were visibly stunned to see me. My father spoke first, his tone sharp. "If you're here because of her, you can turn right around and leave. Your mother and I don't want to see you." Seeing my parents, healthy and in their prime, my eyes instantly welled up. After Victoria killed me in my past life, what kind of despair must they have felt when they saw my body? The thought broke me. I stood at the doorway and sobbed uncontrollably. My mom nudged my dad, frowning. "That was you. Why do you have to be so harsh? Look at him. He's a wreck." I buried my face in my mother's shoulder and let it all out, the regret. The bitterness, all the emotions I'd held back came pouring out. There, Sincere. What happened? Did that Victoria girl hurt you?" I nodded. I broke up with her. I don't love her anymore. I want to come home." The look on my parents' faces was a comical mix of relief and joy, as if a great storm had finally passed. As if afraid I'd change my mind, my dad asked tentatively, "Is this a for real, never getting back together kind of breakup?" I managed a teary smile and nodded, then told them everything that had happened. My parents' faces contorted with anger. "That Victoria, I told you from the start, that girl was bad news. If she was so capable, would she have needed you to work yourself to death networking for her? You gave up your family for her and she has the audacity to blame you?" Hearing that, I couldn't meet my parents' eyes. I was consumed with guilt. What kind of spell had I been under in my last life to abandon my own parents for a woman like that? "It's good you're home," my mom said softly, patting my back like she did when I was a child. "It's good you're home." Perhaps it was the emotional toll of the day, but I was exhausted. I fell into a deep sleep. I woke up the next day around noon. I checked my phone to see 20 missed calls from Victoria and a new post on Leo's Instagram. It was a photo of him in Victoria's passenger seat. She was holding his hand. The caption read, "No matter what happens, you'll always be by my side." Even though I was prepared for it, seeing it with my own eyes still sent a sharp, twisting pain through my chest. I had been with Victoria for 6 years. She loved me so much that our friends all joked that if we didn't get married, they would never believe in love again. But feelings change, don't they? Chapter 3. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Leo. "Sincere, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to post that. You know my situation is complicated right now. Victoria, she was just comforting me because she feels sorry for me. I heard you broke up with her. Please don't let it be because of me." I'd feel terrible. I didn't reply. I couldn't be bothered with such low-level manipulation, posting something like that and then sending me this message. What did he expect me to do? Get on my knees and beg Victoria not to leave me? Or storm over to his house and beat the crap out of him? A homewrecker hiding behind a mask of innocence was just as disgusting as an ungrateful backstabber like Victoria. I once accidentally saw their chat history. You're so amazing, Victoria. Sincere is so lucky to have a girlfriend like you. Sincere has it all, a great family, a beautiful girlfriend. I wish my life could be like that. And Victoria, bless her heart, ate it all up. She insisted on adopting him as her little brother, bringing him food whenever he was hungry, and drinks whenever he was thirsty. When my childhood friend Jake heard I'd finally broken up with her, he insisted on taking me out to celebrate. Seeing his energetic grin, my mood lifted for the first time in ages. Seriously, man, you have no idea how much I hated that woman. Ever since you got with her, you've been completely MIA. Being whipped is the start of a miserable life. And you're the poster boy for guys who ditch their friends. For a girl listening to Jake's tirade, I threw an arm around his shoulders and readily agreed. You're right, my man. I was wrong. I was blind. I have terrible judgment. Are you happy now? Jake finally nodded, satisfied, then dragged me through a series of luxury boutiques on Oak Street. I felt a wave of nostalgia. Since getting with Victoria, I felt like I had lost my old self, becoming a man who revolved entirely around her. With her startup in its early, cash-strapped stages, I had cut back on my own spending to support her, never setting foot in these high-end stores I once loved. Hey, isn't that Victoria? Jake suddenly exclaimed. I followed his gaze and saw her with Leo, furtively pulling a suitcase. They looked like they were up to no good. I had no desire for any more contact with them, but Jake's curiosity got the better of him, and he pulled me over to get a closer look. We watched as they entered a high-end luxury consignment store. A suspicion began to form in my mind. Isn't that the custom, limited edition watch I got you for your birthday a couple of years back? Jake asked, pointing at a watch on the counter inside. I frowned. When I'd packed my things and left, I hadn't had time to take everything. I was planning to have movers pick up the rest in a day or two. I couldn't believe Victoria was so desperate for Leo that she was trying to secretly sell my watch. I walked into the store. The first look on Victoria's face was guilt, which quickly morphed into feigned surprise and delight. Sincere, what are you doing here? Why haven't you been answering my calls? I was going to explain everything after I took care of this. You... Smack, I slapped her across the face. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Leo rushed to her side, checking the red mark on her cheek. Sincere, how could you hit her? You... Smack, the second one landed squarely on Leo's face. That one was just for good measure. Jake let out a whoop of approval from the side. The other customers in the store started to gather around, eager to see the drama unfold. Sincere Vance, you bastard, Victoria shrieked, pulling Leo behind her like a mother hen protecting her chick. Why did you hit him? What has he ever done wrong for you to target him like this? I pointed at the pile of expensive watches, necklaces, and rings on the counter. Selling my things. Did you ask for my permission? Chapter 4. Victoria's face flushed a deep red. I was just borrowing them. It's not like I wasn't going to pay you back. Borrowing my things? Funny, I don't recall that conversation. We're broken up. Wouldn't this be considered theft of private property? Sincere, how can you be so materialistic, she cried, her voice rising. They're just watches and jewelry, you can always buy more, but you can't buy back a human. Life, are you really going to stand by and watch someone be driven to their death? Will that make you happy? She grew more and more agitated, acting as if I were the one who had cheated, not her. I was genuinely amazed at her capacity for such shamelessness. I scoffed. You talk a big game. If you're so noble, why aren't you selling the designer bags and clothes and jewelry I bought for you? What? Is your little friend not worth selling those for? At this, Victoria stammered, unable to form a coherent sentence. I saw Leo's expression shift slightly as he looked at her. I continued with a cold smile, a couple of morally bankrupt people trying to guilt-trip me. What's next? Am I supposed to support the children you have with your next husband? The onlookers began to whisper among themselves. Cornered and speechless, Victoria knew she was in the wrong. Seeing people starting to record with their phones, she realized dragging this out would do her no good. She finally relented, though with a sharp tone. This ring and this watch were bought by me. I have every right to sell them. Both Jake and I were stunned by the sheer audacity. The idea of taking back gifts you gave someone while dating was a new level of trashy. Fine, do whatever you want. I didn't want to get any more entangled with her. I turned to the store manager. Those other items are mine. Please appraise them and wire the money directly to my account. Victoria must have known that her fledgling company was already tight on cash and that she couldn't spare anything to help Leo. To resort to such a disgusting tactic, she really wanted to have her cake and eat it too. Sincere, are you really breaking up with me? Are you sure about this? She said, her voice serious, as if she were doing me a favor after all. These years, if you dump me now, everyone will think you're a scumbag who used me and threw me away out of respect for the love I once had. For you, just ask your parents for $500,000. Pay off Leo's debt first, and we can talk about everything else. She was completely serious, as if breaking up with her would leave me with nothing. Victoria, are you insane? Jake cut in. With a guy like Sincere, you were the one punching above your weight, okay? Besides, my sister is 30, single, 5 feet 9 inches, and is supermodel gorgeous. Sincere's life will only get better without you. Go enjoy your little mooch with that. Jake grabbed my arm and pulled me away without a backward glance. Once we were out of the mall, we looked at each other and burst out laughing. That felt so good, Jake crowed. I've been wanting to tell her off for ages. I never understood what you saw in her. She was broke but had this massive ego, and God forbid anyone call her out on it. Textbook insecurity masked by arrogance. A woman who's only after your money can always pretend to be nice to you, you get me? Then, he leaned in conspiratorially. So, how about you become my brother-in-law? Keep it in the family, you know? If my sister doesn't find someone soon, my parents are going to lose it. They're starting to think she's into women. I rolled my eyes at him. 6 years of wholehearted devotion had ended like this. Once bitten, twice shy. How could I even think about dating right now? Jake didn't push it. He just said if I ever changed my mind, he'd call his sister immediately. Chapter 5. I thought that would be the end of it, but a few days later, I received a message from Leo asking to meet, attached with a photo of him and Victoria holding hands. Sincere, Victoria and I are together now. Thanks for stepping aside. Let's meet up soon. We have something to talk to you about. I had zero desire to see them, but I was morbidly curious about what new scheme this toxic duo had cooked up, so I agreed to meet. I forwarded the address to Jake. If you don't hear from me, call in the cavalry. Roger that, sir. Mission accepted. How thoughtful of Leo to pick a coffee shop near my place. I walked in and immediately saw Victoria, her eyes red and puffy, leaning, her head on Leo's shoulder with a look of shy vulnerability. Leo was dabbing at her tears with a tissue. When he saw me approach, he awkwardly pulled his hand back. Spit it out. I don't have all day, I said, disgusted by their lovey-dovey act. Leo pulled a thick stack of papers from his bag and placed it in front of me. Take a look, Sincere. June 28th, 2023. 1 pair of pants, $699. July 2nd, 2023. Bank transfer, $2,000. July 4th, 2023. Gift transfer, $52. I was baffled. What is the point of showing me this? The papers were a detailed list of transactions between Victoria and me. Sincere, you two are broken up, Leo said. We spent the last 2 nights calculating all the expenses from your 6 years together. Victoria spent a total of $15,865.35 on you. We were wondering how you plan to pay us back. I felt like I'd just heard the punchline to a cosmic joke. What was this, a new reality show? Ex-girlfriend and new boyfriend demand reimbursement for dating expenses. Only Victoria could pull something like this. Sincere, please try to understand, Victoria chimed in. Leo's creditors are getting aggressive. For the sake of the 6 years we spent together, just transfer the money to me as soon as you can. I laughed, the sound sharp with disbelief. And what if I don't? Sincere, you don't want to make this ugly, do you? Leo said smoothly. Maybe 15 grand isn't much to you, but it's a significant amount for us. If you ever truly loved Victoria, you should think about her situation. Oh, so you admit 15 grand isn't much for 6 years? He knew damn well I'd spent more than 10 times that amount on her. I raised an eyebrow at him. His face reddened slightly, as if even he realized how ridiculous he sounded. If you refuse to pay, he said, his voice hardening, then you can expect a summons from our lawyer. I was starting to think they'd both suffered a severe drop in IQ. Had they been cursed? How could they say something so monumentally stupid? Just as I was about to tear into them, a cool, clear female voice cut through the air. I am Mr. Vance's legal counsel. If you have any issues, you can direct them to me. A woman in a sharp power suit walked in. With her striking eyes and breathtaking beauty, she was impossible to look away from. I was completely confused. Excuse me, do we know each other? The woman sat down beside me without hesitation and slid a business card across the table. The name on it was one of the most prestigious big law firms in the country. Hello, my name is Serena Song. I am Mr. Vance's attorney. If my client has any disputes with either of you, you may contact me directly. Seeing a real lawyer from a top-tier firm, Victoria and Leo lost their nerve. They couldn't say another word and scurried away. Jake Song, Serena Song? This couldn't be my friend Jake's sister, could it? Chapter 6. Just then my phone buzzed. It was Jake. Dude, sorry, something came up last minute. My sister just got back in town, so I sent her to back you up. You've met her, right? She's gorgeous, isn't she? I looked at the stunning leggy beauty beside me and nodded emphatically to myself. An absolute bombshell. Serena watched me with an amused smile. So you're the impossibly handsome, sincere Vance my brother never shuts up about. I took a deep breath. That idiot friend of mine, always exaggerating. I gave an awkward laugh. Well, I'm just average, really. He wasn't wrong, she said, the smile deepening at the corners of her lips. I figured she must have heard plenty about me from Jake. Next time you encounter a couple of legally illiterate morons like that, don't waste your breath. Just call the police. You were just sitting there looking helpless. Her smile, it was captivating. I felt my ears turn red. I was just about to argue back when you showed up. Right, come on. I'll give you a ride home. I stood up to follow her and caught the faint, elegant scent of roses. But Jake said his sister was 30 and had never had a boyfriend. Was she actually into women? She noticed me staring and suddenly turned to face me, blocking my path. She tilted her head up to meet my eyes. What is it, kiddo? I, Sincere Vance, age 28, was just called kiddo, nothing. As soon as she turned away, I clutched my chest, trying to calm my racing heart. On the ride home, I secretly texted Jake, Dude, your sister is ridiculously beautiful, right? I was going to introduce you 2 years ago, but then Victoria freaking Sterling came along and snatched you up. She can't hold a candle to my sister. Later, I was expressing my gratitude when Serena rolled down the window and pulled up her WeChat QR code. You can thank me by taking me out to dinner sometime. I blinked, then quickly fumbled for my phone to add her. Back home, I found myself scrolling through Serena's social media. It was all reposted articles from her law firm's official account. No personal life to be seen. A little boring. Hey, do you think she's into the cool, aloof type or the sweet, innocent type? I texted Jake, my mind wandering. Came the quick reply. You said your sister likes women, right? So I'm just wondering, what was with Jake today? All he sent were question marks. Did his account get hacked? I immediately started a voice call. It was answered instantly. Hello. My mind went completely blank. For a split second, I wanted to hurl my phone into outer space. It was Serena's voice. Hey, hi Serena. Good evening. Is Jake there? 10,000 crows were cawing in my head. What kind of soap opera nightmare was this? I like women? And you're wondering what my type is? No, wait, Serena, I can explain, I stammered, my face a mask of horror. How was I supposed to know her brother's phone was in her hands? I later found out Serena's phone had died, and she'd borrowed Jake's to send a file. Just before the screen went dark, she saw the message that would haunt me forever. I quickly hung up, trying desperately to prevent the situation from getting any worse. And so a strange dynamic formed between Serena and me. She didn't ask, I didn't answer. And if she did ask, I feigned total surprise over the next few days. I started getting calls from shareholders and partners of Victoria's company. They wanted to know why she hadn't been to the office and what was happening with ongoing projects. I shut them all down and sent out a mass email to the entire company. To whom it may concern, my relationship with Victoria Sterling has ended. She is now with someone else. I am no longer affiliated with this company in any capacity. For any questions regarding new project leadership, please direct your inquiries to your CEO, M.S. Sterling. Chapter 7. The email sent the entire company into a frenzy. Wait, what? Am I on a dial-up connection? What did I miss? What's up with Miss Sterling? She's already moved on? Anyone have the inside scoop? I'm dying to know. From Mr. Vance's tone, it sounds like she did something. Oh no. Without Mr. Vance, is the company going to go under? I better start looking for a new job. Meanwhile, the company's partners were in total chaos. Victoria wasn't answering her phone or replying to messages. She was out trying to borrow money for her dear friend. When the partners heard the news, their worlds went black. Did Victoria really think I was just going to clean up her mess? In her dreams, to stop the endless stream of calls from people I no longer had anything to do with, I changed my phone number. But then one day, as I was parking my car, Victoria lunged out from behind me. I jumped, startled. The person before me with tangled hair and bloodshot eyes was almost unrecognizable. Was this Victoria? It had only been a month. How had she fallen so far, so fast? Sincere, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I'm a terrible person. I never should have treated you like that. Victoria knelt before me, sobbing, tears and snot running down her face. I just felt disgusted, wondering what she was trying to pull now. Through her long, choked-up confession, I finally pieced it together. After her 10th day of absence, the partners had stormed the office. With no leadership, the employees were lost. The partners sued her company for breach of contract. The company had to pay a massive settlement and was forced to declare bankruptcy and liquidate. In that month, she had managed to scrape together over $2 million for Leo, but it was a drop in the bucket against the loan shark's insane compounding interest. When she finally snapped and threatened to call the police, a group of thugs grabbed her and beat her severely. I shook my head. She was still so naive. Anyone brazen enough to run a loan sharking operation like that has powerful people backing them up. And she threatened to call the cops? Even if the police got involved, Leo's father had signed a legitimate contract. They'd still owe a fortune. It was a case of bad people getting what they deserved. "Where's your boyfriend?" I asked, noticing that the once inseparable pair was now just a party of one. At the mention of Leo, Victoria's eyes blazed with hatred. That son of a bitch, the moment he saw my company went bankrupt, he ditched me for some rich cougar in her 50s. I can't believe I ever felt sorry for that pathetic dog. Then she looked up at me, her eyes pleading. Sincere, I was out of my mind. I shouldn't have given you up for him, given up our company. I'm begging you, I have nothing now. Please, give me one more chance. Sincere, the one I truly love is you. I wanted nothing more to do with her and turned to leave. But Victoria launched herself at me, wrapping her arms around me in a desperate, crazed embrace. Sincere, I love you. Let's get married, okay? Let's get married. The difference in our strength was too great. I easily shoved her to the ground, but she was completely unhinged. She latched onto my leg and refused to let go. Are you crazy, Victoria? Let go or I'm calling the cops. Yes, I'm crazy, Sincere. I can't live without you. Suddenly, there was a dull thud, followed by the sound of a heavy body hitting the pavement. The pressure on my leg vanished. Chapter 8. I looked up sharply to see Serena Song standing there holding a tire iron, a worried look on her face. Her hands were trembling slightly. I looked at the crumpled form of Victoria on the ground, then hurried over to put an arm around Serena's shoulders. It's okay. It's okay. She's not dead. To my surprise, Serena chuckled and pinched my cheek. Assault carries a prison sentence. A felony conviction can ruin your future. I'm well aware of the consequences. Her unexpectedly dry humor made me laugh. Then she pulled me toward her car. I'll handle the Victoria situation. Don't worry. Right now, we need to deal with our situation. Sitting in her car, I stared at her beautiful face, less than a foot away, and my heart began to pound uncontrollably. Deal with what? Why have you been avoiding me? I bit my lip, flustered. I haven't been avoiding you. It's just... Seeing me so nervous I could barely speak, she just let out a soft laugh and murmured, "Idiot." Victoria was sentenced to a few years in prison for assault and other charges. A weight I didn't know I was carrying finally lifted. Meanwhile, my relationship with Serena progressed rapidly. We texted every day, talking about everything and nothing. It was like I was learning to speak all over again, a constant stream of thoughts pouring out. Before I knew it, it was Valentine's Day. Serena asked me to dinner. Jake watched me get ready, a teasing glint in his eye. Ooh, still not interested, huh? This is the first time I've ever seen my sister ask a guy out. If my parents found out about this, they'd be on the next flight here to meet you. I punched him lightly on the arm. What are you talking about? We're just friends. Friends who go out on Valentine's Day? Then Jake pulled out a high-end, tailored suit. I stared at him, confused. When did you get this? He shot me a look of pure exasperation. If I waited for you, who knows how long it would take? Besides, I really need to know if my sister is into guys or girls. And since you're the only person she's been this close to in years, I'm begging you, my friend, please help me find out. I couldn't resist his pleading, and a part of me wanted to know too. That evening, I arrived at the restaurant Serena had chosen. I spotted her immediately, sitting by the window, typing on her laptop with a frown. I cleared my throat. As she looked up, I didn't miss the flicker of stunned admiration in her eyes. But the night went on as usual. She didn't say much, but she never let the conversation die. After dinner, I walked her to her car. I felt a strange sense of disappointment. I pulled out my phone and texted Jake. She had zero reaction to my suit. Give it up. She's definitely into women. I'm into women? A soft voice murmured right beside me. Serena had left her jacket in the restaurant and had told me to wait by the car. As she returned, she had glanced over my shoulder and seen the message I'd just sent. I quickly pocketed my phone, playing dumb. Huh? What? She stood on her toes, wrapped her arms around my neck, and pressed her strawberry-flavored lips firmly against mine. I froze. I'm not into women, she whispered against my mouth. I'm into you. I don't know how long we stood there before Serena finally pulled back. The sudden confession left me breathless. You look very handsome tonight, she said, and then, as if remembering something, she smiled. Were you trying to see if I was interested in you? I shook my head. No, it's not. Before I could finish, her lips were on mine again. She leaned her head on my shoulder, her fingers tracing patterns on my hand. I've been holding this in for 6 years, Sincere. 6 years. She'd had a crush on me from the very beginning. There is no greater feeling in the world than discovering the person you're falling for has been in love with you all along. The next morning, Serena was already downstairs making breakfast. Thinking about last night, my face flushed red. Suddenly, her phone buzzed on the counter. I meant to just hand it to her, but I accidentally saw the notification from her best friend. "Serena, did Mr. Perfect finally say yes?" I couldn't resist. I unlocked her phone and found the group chat from when she was waiting for me at the restaurant. The guy I've been crushing on for 6 years is on a Valentine's date with me. Jealous much? A warmth spread through my chest, and I couldn't help but smile. The cool, formidable Serena song was secretly an adorable, proud kitten. As if sensing my gaze, she turned and smiled at me. I closed the distance between us and wrapped my arms around her waist, pulling her close. Outside, the sun was warm but not scorching. The breeze was gentle, and the love of my life was right here, in my arms.